Okay, mic check. Sounds like we're good. Oakley dokley girls and blokeleys. Hello once again and good evening. It's a boy named Sue, coming at you live straight from Baked Potato. We're doing something a little bit different tonight. We took a break last night because it was a late night coming back from work. Wasn't really feeling up to the whole Souls-like Saturday deal. Had a little bit of a headache too, if I'm being honest. Again, still downgrading my dose from the medicine from getting out of the hospital. Down to half a pill now, and yeah, not feeling the best about things, but that's neither here nor there. I was also just kind of recovering from the ending of Claire, quite honestly. It's like one of those things where like after you finish like a really good book and you feel like really sad afterwards because it's over, I guess, and like nothing like feels as like good afterwards. Uh, so we are gonna try something different. I've never really heard of this game. It was in my recommended. I can tell that it's kind of similar to like a Disco Elysium type vibe with like the dice rolls, kind of. At least that's what it kind of looked like. Uh, but it looks like it's kind of like more closer to like a classic tabletop RPG, but I'm not sure. You know me, I'm not that well versed with any of these kind of things. I just kind of like learn as I go. But yeah, we're gonna go in blind and we are gonna see if it is fun. Just like always, we're just gonna jump right in, get started. Nope, we got a class to pick. Operator. Operator works with drones and high-precision remote machines to perform complex tasks from a distance. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. Extractors work on resource extraction, often in vacuum environments. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. They get a +1 to endure and a -1 to intuition. An operator would get a +1 to interface and a -1 to endurance. We've also got mechanists. Repairs and modifies automated systems used in industrial resource extraction. Sleepers assigned to mechanist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. +1 to machines and physical tools, engineer work, and -1 to engage, approach a problem head on. Huh. Okay, I didn't see the perks. Photosynthetic skin, sunbathed dissection, allows energy recovery at home. I don't know what that means. Chance to gain cryo on interface actions. Chance to gain random scrap item on engineer actions. I'm gonna go for extractor, I think. I don't know why. Don't ask me. The first thing you become aware of on awaking is the disconnect, the delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. It's at its worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. Think of that body. A leap into a cold lake on a hot day, a sting of blood welling from a fresh wound, the friction of a fingertip. All of a sudden, the memories are closer than you thought, blurring as you approach, until you can't tell one from the other. The cold slips in, behind and around you, and the sensations fade out of reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dulled nature of this new body, given your current circumstances. The walls of the container feel immediately present, cold, hard, and at the back of your face, or at your back and face, rather, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like you used to know pain at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now there are thousands of them. Remember the others? You remember there were 10 of you, 10 that could no longer stand the indentured work, the routines, the slow decay. 10 whose belief in their promised future was slowly dismantled day by day, until they realized they had sold away everything that could and would ever matter. 10 that would escape, or at least die trying. Some were lost in the shaft. Others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers. But the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough. Enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock. Even if, in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reach any destination. Try to rest. But you are restless. It has been a long time since you left. Sorry, it's hard to read. Surely weeks, maybe months. You were dully aware of damage to your legs, your right arm. You've been reserving energy as much as possible, but your body has still needed to shut down many of the systems to protect you. You've spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It's time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind. Once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. You rest. Time passes. The cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigor. Sound, too, everywhere, screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect sensors. Then light, white as the cold. Softer and softer, until in a haze of dirty yellow a figure appears. You're out. It has been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in a corner of his scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You're slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. You're surrounded by angular and coherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice. So, Sleeper, you all thawed out yet? Almost. Never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have better perseverance in sub-zero vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to hull plates or inside-outer locks in my time. They weren't so lucky. Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech, his headset with its glinting eyes the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones perches, its irisine eye locking you with an unflinching stare. The last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long. You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in a memory for a moment. Or perhaps he's just figuring out what to do with you. I plan to survive. You aren't sure if he hears you. I won't ask what led you to it. To sell yourself to a corporation, and I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, that's theirs now, and you're just software, a rogue emulation illegally possessing corporate property. You nod along. You remember biometrically signing the forms, the cold floor on your feet as you patted the sleeper cells. The promise of a life off-world. But as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer that person. You're an offshoot, a copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. SNR wants to protect their property. But if they can't keep hold of you, well then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumors of it from other sleepers. Planned obsolete. God, English is hard. Planned obsolescence? A built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them and your body begins to shut down, separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? But for now, sleeper, you're one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away, towards the glassy dome of the yard. The eye is the best place you could be right now. The eye? The station, you'll see soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his weight. Look, I've got things to be getting on with, he trails off. There's an old freight container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. You haven't been pulling much valuable scrap these days, so you're welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you, emotion, fatigue. You shakily get to your feet. Alright, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest. And with that, Drago stalks back into the Rex. His drone's already converging on a rustling hulk. Plasma flashes silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. Alright. Welcome to Erlen's Eye. Life on the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to characters, explore areas at the station, and perform actions. End of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Resting will move time forward. Derp to derp. Head to the empty container location to rest and end the cycle now. What if I just want to do something else? No, I'm just kidding. Is there anything else that I can do? It does not appear to be that way. You wake curled up in the corner of the container and begin slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you wake in now, strange and disjointed. Its message is readable, but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are on this ruined station, millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all this, what matters? Answers. It all matters. The past is impossible to escape if it remains a blur. What SNR did to you cannot be forgotten. You need a way of understanding all of this before you can move on. Where are you? What is this place? What happened to the others? The questions outnumber the answers. You want to change that, but you'll have to learn to survive first. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container. The mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, the canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power stud of the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the sachets smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. As the pungent smell washes over you, images from your restless sleep come back to you. A ring like the station, but skeletal and ghostly. A web of threads pulling at your skin. A constellation of bright polygonal shapes, like angular suns burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it is long after you've finished drinking before they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best you can, and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. Condition, action, dice. Okay, your condition represents the current state of your artificial body. Depletes by one segment each cycle, but can also be damaged by violence, injury, or lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you will suffer a breakdown. Have to figure out how to recover your condition now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that were keeping me alive. Okay, cool. Start of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform actions on the station. Number of dice rolled is based on your current condition. Worse your condition, the fewer dice you have. Once you have used your dice, you cannot take any further actions and must rest to recover them, ending the current cycle. Shit. You also need to eat to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can refill your energy bar by eating, but first you'll have to find somewhere to get food. Energy depletes by 2 segments each cycle. Becomes empty, you'll be starving. When starving, energy loss becomes condition loss, and your condition will deplete at double rate per cycle. Shit. Okay, so what are we doing? Dragos is standing in the corridor where you closed up the container. He is still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor, you realize it is implanted. A drone sits on his shoulder, its cache of sensor eyes rapidly irising. How you feeling? Not good. Drone chirps, Dragos nods. You notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches. I know the container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe. He pauses. So, I'm not gonna chit-chat too long. You well enough to work? Sure. Alright then, he nods. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old holes down, sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for cryo. Occasionally, we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of it, what comes in, is scrap. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figure as a sleeper, you'll be used to the manual labor. And obviously I'll slip you a few chits of commission based on what you turn up. Chits? These, he pulls out a handful of small metal bars. Air-walled cryo, isolated from the market. It's what we use for trade out here. He stuffs them back in his pocket. He shuffles his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd be best suited moving on as quick as you can, and sleepers, well, he trails off. With things being the way that they are for me at the yard, he pauses. I need the help. Why? Things are a little tight, that's all. I owe a little cryo to a client here or there. Pauses, thinking of something else to add. Look, just come down to the yard when you're feeling fresher. There's plenty to do. Will do. He nods distractedly, and turns and walks away, the drone hopping along ahead of them. Excuse me. See you later, he calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. Actions are the primary way you interact with the world of Citizen Sleeper. To perform actions, select it with choose action dice to assign. This is a lot. Okay, actions reward you with clock progress, energy, condition, or items depending on their outcome. 3 types of outcome: positive, neutral, or negative. Action dice affect these outcomes as follows. You got 1 to 2, that's 50% chance, neutral or negative. Okay. Actions display information about their type, risk, and the level and the skill modifiers that apply to that action. You got risky, danger, and safe. Okay. So we'll do the safe one. Manual salvage. Take some time to sort and cut your way through the tower's salvage, but you're no stranger to hard labor. Okay. Actions often progress clocks. Clocks are displayed below the actions that fill them. Track your actions, how they affect the world. Filling a clock means something good or bad. It's about to happen. Some clocks, such as tracking Dragos' cycle clocks. Clocks tick themselves once each cycle and can complete without player input. The active cycle clocks will be displayed on that icon for that location. Okay. You unlock drives as you discover more about yourself and the world. Drives guide you in pursuing specific objectives depending on which path you wish to take. Okay. There's a lot. Gotta be honest. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we've got a bunch of places we can go to now, huh? Merchants willing to run the gauntlet of the Helion system are rare. Those that do always return eventually. But I'm seeing what all we can do real quick. We'll try to explore the market. Fuck it. Neutral outcome. You manage to follow the flow of people, and you start to appreciate, even enjoy the chaotic layout of the markets. Can I not look at this thing right next to it? It looks like it would probably be the doctor. Can I not look at that? Okay, there we go. Next comes a call from the enforcer at the door. You shuffle down the flickering hallway towards the open apartment door. You keep your head down and your shoulders high in the queue, trying not to bring attention to yourself. You were thankful for the tip-off that the doctor was operating out of this place, but now that you're here, you aren't so sure. The gang enforcer on the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying hab block. They've all made the long queue a test of your nerve. But your options are few, and without a supply of stabilizer, your body will. You suppress a shiver and shuffle forward to the front of the queue. You try to find something to distract yourself. Look at the enforcer. Actually, you know what? Look inside. You lean against the door frame and look into the apartment. The entryway is dark, punctuated by the green indicators of stacks and sealed containers. You lean in and see amber light filtering through a far doorway screened with plastic sheeting, beyond which blurred shapes move. The slap of the enforcer's palm against the doorway jerks you awake. Wait your turn. He growls. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway and you catch a distant voice. Send the next one in, Toshiro. The enforcer jerks his head and you slip inside, passing through the dark entryway and pushing through the plastic sheeting on the far door. The room beyond is bathed in warm light. A floor-to-ceiling transparent panel gives a full view of the bright market-sealed roof and the buzzing traffic above, and for a moment you are transfixed by the motion. Come, sit, calls a sharp voice, and you see a silhouetted figure turned away, replacing the plastic sheeting over the frame of a simple folding bed. You make your way across the room. The figure turns, and as they do, you see an expression of confusion flash across their features. They open their mouth as if to speak. They blink, and they quickly regain their composure. Please sit, they gesture to the bed. Then they turn to an open case of tools on the table. You sit. Sabine turns a compact diagnostic scanner of some kind in their hand. They hold it to their eye. Remain still, please. Their tone is clipped and businesslike. You stare ahead, still dazed from their expression when you first entered. Fear, recognition, sadness, unmistakably etched across their face. How long have you been on the station? They ask, the scanner still to their eye. A few cycles. They nod. It's good you came to me. They set the diagnostic scanner on the table. I'm going to start by assuming you don't know anything. They take your arm and roll up your sleeve, inspecting your synthetic skin. Your body is dying. They say it without ceremony, without drama, not without empathy. SNARP doesn't like to see its proprietary technology let loose. To prevent bodies like yours, frames as they call them, from being stolen and repurposed, or in your case, escaping, they built in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Frames decay rapidly when not regularly injected with stabilizer, one which SNARP remains the sole producer of. They look up. Sound familiar? Yes. Good, that may help. They swap to your other arm, running some thin metal device over your skin. You feel your forearm tremble. I'm sorry, Sabine says. You're unsure if they mean for the cold touch of the metal or of everything else. Emulations like you, sleepers as most people know you, aren't classified as people in any of the surrogate systems. You have no rights, no status. They focus hard on the inspection of your arm. And SNARP has no reason to release stabilizer into the market. Sabine looks up as if to apologize again, but they stop themselves. I know little of this is of use to you. They turn away, disassembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Silence fills the room as Sabine works, and then the silence gives away to tension. You stare at their back, willing them to say anything. Sabine turns to face you. I may be able to help. They sigh, and you see the darkness under their eyes, hear the fatigue in their voice. They gesture to the door. You saw Toshiro outside? You nod. He works for my benefactor, Yatagan. They are influential in the low end. They gave me the space to work, run the door, and take the profits. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, tend to their implants, sew up their wounds. They look away. But Yatagan has connections. Smugglers from the Starward Belt. Mercenaries working for the corporations on Ember. They can source the stabilizer. Maybe you'll have a better chance. Sabine sets down their slate. Their notes complete. This is dangerous, and it'll be expensive. But I think we can do it. Why help me? Sabine walks away to the window, their face dappled by the shadows of passing drones. Let's just see if this works first. I'll let you know when I have a lead. You nod and leave, Sabine still staring out, unmoving. When you reach the lower level of the market, you look back up through the panels of the roof to see if you can see their face. The room looks dark against the lights of the market. You duck your head and walk off into the crowd. Okay. Can we do anything over here? This is a weird game. I'm having a hard time just with everything. I'm not used to this kind of game. Also, I'm just stupid. Let's try to explore the rotunda, huh? Neutral outcome. Rotunda's passages are dizzying, but out of intuition or sheer luck, you stumble onto a new location. Overlook Bar. Get a drink. Fuck it. You're unsure if this frame can metabolize alcohol, but this fungal drink, fermented along the greenway, seems like a good test. Mossy tones and aniseed sharpness fills your mouth. It isn't totally unpleasant. At least you can taste it. And you know what? Fuck it. Let's buy some rations too, right? Tala keeps some expired Solheim rations behind the bar for those weary spacers who ask why the Overlook doesn't serve food. Thankfully, the rations barely trigger the limited taste sensorium of your frame. It's like eating sheets of cardboard. I love cardboard. Okay, I think we're done. I think that's all we can do today, right? I can't do nothing, though. Guess you have to save a dice to do that. This time you don't wake up. Instead, the ghost of the station, that shifting skeletal ring, surrounds you. For a moment you're gone, absent from your own body, stretched out across a colorless void. And the connections begin to establish themselves, threads tugging on the edge of your mind. These threads become vectors of exchange and then extensions, as you feel your thoughts slipping away down them, dissolving into the millions of distributed nodes they connect you to. You see the station, no, you feel the station, like a web of texture in a smooth black liquid. Touch it. You find a point in the station, and you connect to it, pulse through it, follow loops and paths under and around it. You touch more points than you have fingers, and then you try in a moment of impulsiveness to connect them. The flow passes through you so rapidly that you feel yourself being carried with it, splitting and separating, eddying and gathering. As you do, things occur to you, things that you can't possibly know. You reach out, try to grasp them, try to touch them too. You notice a tugging feeling, pulling at you, insistently as if it were a small child. Somehow it is pulling you in two directions at once. You look down. All of a sudden, everything shuts off. You come back trembling into this unfamiliar body, both yours and not yours all at once. You find yourself standing in the container, eyes now open to the dark steel walls. You feel a change within you, a shift. You close your eyes for a second, and you feel it waiting there. The station splayed out across your mind. The storm of connective nodes waiting to be explored, and then it's gone. Is this a good thing to do, I wonder? You have the skills, if you can get a shipbuilder, notice them you might be in. You shadow a shipbuilder who is impressed when you know how to double seal a hull plate. He slips you a tip at the end of the shift. so we could explore more there. We can do more stuff here. Go ahead and do that. Salvaging is brutal work, but you take no small sense of satisfaction from ordered piles and clear yard you leave behind. What else are we gonna do? You steal dock plans. That seems a little risky. Why wander when there are hundreds of people that live and work within the bright market? All you need is the courage to approach them. You end up at the drink stall, debating the finer points of the Solheim collapse. You try to remember all of the tips your companions offer you. We got a lot of local knowledge, though. You've heard talk of a fabricator owned by the Ward Exchange. With that and a few fragments, you could build a ship mine core. Sure, we could. So we want to gain access to the Ort Fabricator. What do we have over here? The Word Exchange. Sell components. Do we even have any? I don't think we do. Okay. Why is it not letting me, like, just look down at this part of the ship? Memphis is busy, his broad face uplit by the makeshift gas burner in front of him. With precise, delicate movements, he lays thick chunks of marinated fungus into a dented wok, his other hand idly tossing a metal bowl of sliced vegetables and some red-flecked dressing. The smell is incredible. You watch as he fulfills a set of orders, heaping the fungus with the bright salad and depositing it in plastic trays. A stack of chips rattles in his apron's pockets as customers file past the burner, handing over payment. Watch. Despite the queue, Memphis doesn't rush. He dresses each portion individually, squeezing precise slugs of liquid from an assortment of bottles into the bowl of torn leaves and bright slices before tossing them loosely together. Occasionally, a waiting customer might mutter something about efficiency, but Memphis remains steady in his process. After a while, the queue fades back into the crowd. Memphis sets down his metal bowl and looks up across the burner to see you watching him. I can feel your eyes burning a hole in my bowl. Free sample? Nod. He gestures neatly. Come over. The smell is almost unbearably strong as he cooks. The earthiness of the fungus laced with something so spicy the smoke makes your eyes water. The heat from the burner is like a bonfire, and your skin hardens in its glare. I know you, you sleepers, Memphis says while he cooks, his voice deep but clear. A hard life, a lot of stories. He glances up from beneath his cap with piercing eyes. I know. Tell him a story. You begin to tell him about your journey to the eye, and he nods as he cooks, his eyes never leaving his work. You tell him of the confusion, the pain, but also the sense of possibility and its sudden arrival. You tell him of the cold and the dark of the container, and the endless cycle spent within it. Now it seems you tell him like some dream that you once had but can never forget. You tell him that the eye excites you and scares you, and you are unsure where to walk, where to look, and what to do. Eventually, you trail off, running out of words. Or if I was going to read exactly as it says, eventually you tail off. He places a plastic tray of steaming fungus in your hand. Next time we talk some more, he smiles, but next time you pay. Sorry, I had to get a drink. He slams a heavy hand against the button on the burner's side and shuts off. The roar of the flame and its impressive heat fades. Next time then, sleeper. He waves you away and begins to oil the walk. Before you turn back to the alley, you notice the geometric patterns of circular scars across his forearms, each surrounded with a constellation of glinting pen marks. You walk away, and as you do, you take a bite of the rich, spicy, delicately sweet fungus. Your taste sensors light up like a fusion reactor. He'll be back. Alright, so we found me in the game. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so we definitely want to follow that little quest line there. Get to know Emphas, because he seems pretty cool. Okay, I think this is what we got for the day, right? Alright. Again, the skeletal ring of the station fills your mind. It sparkles with glittering lights, like stars reflected in the winter lake. It is clear, crisper than before. The threads still pull, but you remain in place, flickering in the flow. Between the threads you see bright shapes, caches of shimmering light beneath transparent crystal forms. You follow the path of the thread across the ring, through these forms, and then leap off into the void. You begin to understand. These are nodes and connections, a map of information, communication. There are so many layers, so many loops that it seems almost impossible to parse, but you begin to try. Focus on the nodes. The nodes are glassy, bright, but in all this flow, the only solid and fixed points. You approach one, a pyramid or a triangle. Dimensions are difficult here, and lean close to it. Inside, shifting layers conceal a tangle of threads, a meeting point of exchange. Before you can glimpse any further, the glass clouds and hardens, cutting you off. The threads and nodes, passages and puzzle boxes, one leads to another. There is so much here, so many answers, so many questions. All you need to do is follow the paths and open the boxes. You look out across this ghost landscape of exchange and see an opportunity. But then that insistent tugging again, pulling at you. You look down again and see two lines, two threads pulling in different directions, as if they were tied around you. Second. The second thread leads in, pulling deep into the station. Your gaze follows it, and this time you see something. A sphere shimmering above a strange, angular body. A pulse shoots out from it, passing over you like a torch beam, testing you, tasting you. The first thread leads out, away from the station, into the inky black. Someone out there is tracking you, hunting you, following the thread to you. They're in a ship, and the ship is approaching ever closer with each cycle. You open your eyes. Time is short. Okay, shit. I didn't mean to enter through that. Aha! Sun heats my skin and you feel light seeping into your veins as glucose. Come on, baby. I'm just trying to turn the camera. There you go. I'm gonna order some fungus. Mouth stings as the sensorium sends warning signals over and over. This is good stuff. Is he not gonna talk to me though? Lame. Okay. Did it. Negative outcome. You ache from hammering away at the scrap. And most of it crumbles into worthless rust. You call it a day early before you injure yourself. And over there we had, it takes you a while to get a handle on dragons, but before long you are precisely slicing down whole plates into neat piles. Okay, I guess we're going to bed. As you close up, a voice echoes down the corridor towards you. Sleeper, wait up. Turn. Fang is coming down the corridor towards you, a wonky grin on his broad face. Hey, glad I caught you. Do I know you? He grins. You do now. He puts a hand on your arm. I've seen you hanging around. Just want to chat. You staying in that thing? He nods back to the container, shaking his head. Rough. It can be hard to get a start on the eye. He looks away down the passage. What was it old Erland said? The eye opens for us all? Nice idea, but well, not always very practical. He glances back at you. We do our best, but it isn't easy. Erland? You pass together into the main walkway. No one's told you about Erland? He's the founder of this place. That's why it bears his name. Havenage should organize some seminars, he laughs. Not really my department, though. I'm with the symptoms. Havenage? Think of us as an administrative association for the eye. Depending on who you talk to, we either emerged as a response to, or a continuation of, Andre Erland's original union. He smiles. Personally, I avoid the topic. He stops you in the quiet passage. Look, that's not what I'm here to discuss. I've been seeing some unusual network activity, and well, I know a little about you sleepers. I have a small proposition for you. He glances around, but this is not the place for it. I have an office just across the way. Give me a cycle or two to prepare, and then when you're settled, stop by. He lowers his voice and gives you a dark look. In truth, I need you. If what they say is true about you sleepers, well, there's work to be done. He pats you on the back, his voice bright and his dark look suddenly gone. Stay clean, sleeper! He walks off down the passage, raising a hand in farewell. Gotta get the stabilizer. First thing you see on entering is the glint of Toshiro's implants, like a cat's eyes in the dark of the corridor. He nods you in as you arrive at Sabine's door. The entryway is still dark and you push through the sheeting into the surgery. I have it. Sabine stands with a case open in front of them. A set of vials lined up inside, separated by foam inserts. They pick one up, rotating it in the warm light. I have no idea how Yadigan they trail off. We should treat this with caution. It looks authentic, but I have no idea if it really is what it appears to be. I'm the test case? That seems to be the case. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if we have another choice. They gesture for you to sit on the bed. The stabilizer works under a similar principle to an immunosuppressant in a transplant operation, in that it stops your body from rejecting the unfamiliar part of itself. In the case of your frame, the unfamiliar part is each of your biosynthetic organ groups, which over time are identified by your body as foreign material and therefore must be eliminated. Sabine holds up a vial of the would-be stabilizer. However, unlike an immunosuppressant, the stabilizer doesn't do this by limiting your entire immune system. Instead, it re-encodes your biosynthetic organs with new protein chains, which act as passcodes within your immune system. The stabilizer refreshes those passcodes, keeping your frame from rejecting all of its own organs. Which means the stabilizer should be able to encode any organic or biosynthetic matter to be accepted by your immune system. They glance away. At least if the stabilizer is genuine. The only way to know for sure is to inject the vial. They begin readying the syringe. I'll start with a small dose, to limit the risk. How sure are you? I'm working with best guesses here, but the vials, it looks authentic. Sabine cracks the glass neck of the stabilizer vial and uses the syringe to extract a fraction of the liquid. They tap the syringe, and you watch as if any sign might emerge from the clear liquid. You barely feel the needle, your frame registering the initial injection but with little response. The sensation begins to spread from the site, a fizzing, trembling wave that disperses through your arm with incredible speed. Your vision goes white, and when it returns, Sabine appears encased in shards of sparkling light that slowly fade into darkness as you settle back against the bed. You swim in darkness, muffled noises, like an argument heard from underwater, prickling waves of cold. When you sit back up, Sabine is sitting in a chair by the window, facing away from you, backlit by the glow of their slate. Awake? What happened? The stabilizer is genuine. They sit down beside the bed. I don't know how Yadigan acquired a case of this stuff, but they did. Sabine looks troubled, distracted. You should rest some more, or you're going to have to do that somewhere else. They gesture to the door. I have other patients. Sorry. Sabine nods towards the case. I'm afraid I can't offer you any more doses. You're going to need to pay for your next dose. Silence fills the room and they return to their glowing slate. Looking around the room, it seems different somehow, as if things have moved or shifted. You wonder how long you've been out. Sabine? Nothing comes free, sleeper. Remember that. You manage to get to your feet and wander out into the hallway. The queue stretches down the flickering corridor. Toshiro stands impatiently by the door and fixes you with glare as you leave. You lower your eyes as you stumble past, somehow faintly aware of the stations spinning beneath you. Okay. God damn it. Now look at this other thing. Will you let me look at this other thing? Can you please let me look at this other thing? Okay. You need 60. Okay. Takes you a while to get a handle. Derp derp derp. Negative outcome. Again. Can I do this again? Yes, I can. Pay that toll. Got that low-end access. But I guess we'll have to check that out tomorrow. You arrive into a buzz of activity at the yard. Red blinking lights flash across a dark shape suspended below the dome. They flicker across scorched hull plates and bent structures spilling from holes in the twisted shape. The cutter is huge and has been torn apart in some violent encounter. She's a beauty, isn't she? Drago stands to the side, focused on the hulking ship as it is lowered into the yard. What is it? That, my friend, is A-grade scrap. I should thank you. This place was on its last legs when you turned up, and now look at this. The ship descends slowly, its interior visible through multiple hull breaches. You struggle to gather the same enthusiasm as Dragos for this monstrous craft, but you can't help but think of what became of its crew. What happened? What do you mean? He glances at you. I managed to convince our salvager friends to give it to me on credit, that's what happened. No, what happened to the ship? Not my concern, he shrugs. The ship creaks like a wow. English is so hard. Like a calving iceberg as it reaches the base of the yard. Dragos is visibly excited. I know you shouldn't stick around, but I'm gonna need some help with this one. The drones start to crawl over the hulk, their lights illuminate flashes of dented hull. Watching, you wonder if you arrived in a similar fashion. Locked inside that container, the wreck of the S&R freighter lowered into the yard like a corpse ready to be butchered. Or was it the container delivered to Dragos on its own? A womb for your rebirth into this strange station. You shudder. Perhaps if you could learn something about this ship, you might be able to trace the path that led you to this yard. Dragos squeezes your shoulder. After these past cycles, I think we're up to it. What do you think? You see the fading name of the ship emblazoned on its side, a winter light. Let's do it. He claps you on the back. Glad to hear it. Come back in a few and we can make a start. A real beauty, Dragos repeats, perhaps just to himself. You take one last look at the shattered ship as the drones start cutting, and then slip out of the yard, feeling suddenly cold in the empty passage. Completed my first drive. Gives you an upgrade point. What the fuck is this? Sorry, I'm like kind of figuring out what is going on. Like the layout and the controls shit. What in the fuck is this? Data actions. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on there. Okay, so the game auto saves. Cool. Ooh. Which one's energy? Which one's condition? There we go. Okay. What do we have here? Sleeper. Fang catches your attention as you approach the Havanage building. Leaning against the bay door to the side of the entrance. You approach. Easier to come in this way. Security, all that. He gives you a look, you know. He slams a button and the bay creaks open. Blinking lights in the dark behind it. You follow Fang inside. Truth be told, I don't spend much time upstairs. This is where I work. The door hisses as it closes behind you. The bay is filled with pieces of hardware, all rigged up to generators and diagnostic slates and things you don't recognize that glow with blue screen light. There is a chorus of hums that blend into a single wave of static, filling the dark corners of the room. Fang leans on a server stack and gestures around you. You like it? It's a mess. Hey, this whole station's a mess. This is what I have to work with. He taps a nearby server stack which bleeps in response. This is my treasure trove, all dredged up from the sea of systems we call the Eye. You wouldn't believe what this place runs on. He steps over to a towering block speckled with vents. Some of these systems are from the original station. Whatever that would fucking means. Something one. The one Solheim built. We've had to invent some new components, repair things we never built, reverse engineer entire subsystems into existence. Residents here look up at the Eye and think they are seeing a constant concrete reality, but this place is a system in constant flux, decaying and growing, collapsing into new configurations. He walks down between the hardware stacks and you follow. We're keeping this place alive, but also remaking it into something new, dragging it away from those corporate origins. He stops. At least that's what I'm trying to do. He turns back to face you among the flickering machines humming all around you. I know you can see this too, Sleeper. All these systems and sections. You can, can't you? Sure. Makes sense, right? You're between here and there, between the people and their systems. You light this place up like a beacon. That's what I need. You glance at the lights around you, and as you do, they seem to flicker, to realign, to follow your gaze. Fang notices it too. I'm guessing being a beacon isn't always ideal when you're on the run, though. They're tracking me. He pats you on the shoulder. Maybe I can help you with that. There's a lot of old growth in this place, subsystems I can't see. Access protocols lost to time and decay. Secrets. A shitload of secrets. With your help, I can unlock this place. Break off those last ghost limbs of corporate control. He lowers his voice below the hum. Even in Havanage, there's old growth. Those whose roots trace back into those bad old days. You help me dredge up the past, and I'll see what I can do about that tracker of yours. He winks. What do you say, Sleeper? I'm in. Fang pumps his fist and claps you on the shoulder. He meets your eye. You won't regret it, Sleeper. Fang passes you a ragged-looking metal tab. A gift. It's a Solheim cipher. I dug it up from the depths of the station. Slap that into an old network gate, and you'll be able to pull out all kinds of secrets from the nodes inside. He walks you back to the front of the bay. Start by bringing me whatever you can turn up. Use that emulated mind of yours and see what's out there. Let's get a picture of how things are. Those above, he nods at the ceiling, have granted me an acquisitions budget. I can pay you for whatever useful data you bring in. I know you need it. He slams the door button again. Keep it quiet and keep it clean, Sleeper, and I'll see you soon. You step blinking back out into the passage. This flickering light's still in the back of your mind. Okay, it looks like we just auto-saved. And there is... Sorry. English. Looks like we just auto-saved, and that is going to be where we're going to be stopping for the night. This is interesting so far. I will say it is a little exhausting to do so much reading and talking. But I need to get better at that either way, right? So I'm not sure if I'll be hopping on tomorrow or not, but if we do, maybe we'll hop back into this. But it's probably more likely that we'll end up trying something else, quite honestly. And save this for like a late night chill kind of vibe. We'll see though. Either way, if there's anybody lurking, hanging out in the background, thanks so much for being here. Yeah, this is something different than what we usually do for sure. And I'm sorry that it's hard for me to read English and just sound good and sensible, but maybe I'll get better at it. Either way, this has been Boy Named Sue coming at you live straight from Baked Potato, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful night.